It's my 37th birthday, so today I'm going to make myself a delicious chocolate cake. So let's just hop right back in our kitchen and get started. Okay, you're going to need your flour, and you need some baking soda. You need some baking powder too. You need some salt. You need to go ahead and grab an avocado oil, or you can use olive oil as well. Grab some cocoa. I love this. It's actually cacao, but I love this product. Get it at Costco, of course. I'm grabbing my Bellwether A2 yogurt, some coconut oil, and if you don't have yogurt, you could also use sour cream. I have a stainless steel 8-inch. It might be a 9-inch, either one. I have some apple cider vinegar and a big bowl. I had to edit it. My son jumped in and grabbed the bowl behind me. I also forgot that you're going to want to grab some coconut sugar. You could use regular sugar, but I prefer coconut sugar, and I think it really adds some depth with the chocolate cake. Some maple syrup, and that's it. I also wanted to say I did forget to grab the vanilla. Okay, so for your pie tins, you want to grab some parchment paper. It's really easy to do it this way. I like to put the paper down, grab the second, it's not a pie tin, I guess, it's just a cake dish. Maybe I called it a pie tin. And then cut around the edges using the other pie tin to kind of create the form. And I'm just realizing that I do want to grab parchment paper for the top one. So just take out some. You can see me doing that here. You might want to get out some measuring cups once you finish that. You might still be grabbing scissors so that you can do this project. I just figured out this hack on my own. It might already be a hack somewhere, but I was very excited about it. So yeah, you may be wondering, why is she making herself a birthday cake on her birthday? Well, I like to bake. And my husband, he is great at making pies, but cake is not his strong suit at all. And I'm just gonna use a scissor to weigh that down. You could use whatever you want to weigh the top one down. You should have 2 parchments on there, so go ahead and just do that twice if you haven't already. My voice is tired because I'm filming this in the morning. I just woke up. Not filming, I guess. I'm recording my voice over it in the morning. See, my brain isn't fully working. So let's go ahead and get to doing our dry ingredients. So you want to just go ahead and put 2 3/4 cups about of flour into your bowl. And then you're going to add 3 teaspoons of baking powder. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I did a teeny bit more. Now this is the first time I ever made this recipe. I think I'd made it before, but I kind of changed some things. Okay, go ahead and add about a teaspoon of Himalayan salt, or 1/2 teaspoon any other salt. And my favorite, the cacao powder. It has lasted forever, and I stocked up on more at Costco recently. Okay, go ahead and get about 3/4 cup of cocoa powder and dump that in. It's really hard to use that much just because times are tight and cocoa is expensive, so you could use less. It won't be as chocolatey, but it will still be really good. I have done that before when times were tight, especially during, like, after COVID. I definitely used a lot less cocoa, but this was me making my own birthday cake, so I figured, hey, I deserve the cocoa. And if you're making it for your birthday, maybe that's your special gift to yourself. Okay, go ahead and whisk that around. Grab a whisk out. Just give it a good whisk. Fun fact, when I was a younger gal, probably not even until high school, I didn't realize you could make a cake outside of a cake mix. It's true. It's crazy. So go ahead and add some cinnamon. That's my secret ingredient. I put about a teaspoon in. So I didn't tell you to gather at first because I did have a secret surprise ingredient in there. I just love cinnamon, and it does help. Even though I put a little, it helps you regulate your blood sugar slightly. So I'm getting out my KitchenAid. Just getting it set up. And I forgot to mention too, I don't know if I showed it at the beginning, but you need butter. I'm only going to use a half stick. You could use the full stick of butter. So this would be about 1/4 cup butter. Just because butter's expensive. And yeah, I just don't want to use all of it. And I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of, sorry guys, of coconut oil. Oh, I just drank some water. My allergies too. We spent a fun day over in the neighboring city, and they have this amazing park and just a lake. It's really pretty, and my voice is just trash from my allergies. It's so bad. Okay, so I'm doing about a 1/4 cup not olive oil. You could do extra olive oil, but I'm doing about a 1/4 cup of coconut oil in there. If you are trying to make this recipe vegan, you could omit the butter and then just do 1/2 cup coconut oil in there, or if you have a dairy allergy. So I am just going ahead and I sped it up a little bit here, you can see, but I'm not whipping, but just really beating my butter. I would really love a hand mixer for this, but I don't have one. It's so old school, but I miss the old hand mixers. I really, really want one, so I need to be on the lookout for one now with all the tariffs going on. Okay, so I'm gonna add my sugar now. You'll want to too, so go ahead and get that same measuring cup you used for flour and cocoa powder and fill it to 1.5. It doesn't have to be exact. This recipe does call for 2, so if you like your cake and it helps with the volume of your cake with a little bit more batter, if you want to add the full 2, you are welcome to. And you want to have something to help scrape down the sides. So a spatula, a spoon works. Make sure you're scraping down the sides a lot. I did speed it up with the butter process. So mine butter was still kind of cool. You might still be in the butter stage. You might want to pause it and just make sure you're really getting the butter until all of it is broken down. I've made cakes before where I rush it and it doesn't work as well. So I'm just adding 1/4 cup of my maple syrup and 2 to 3 teaspoons of my vanilla extract. I'm just scraping down the sides. And for coconut sugar, I didn't have super fine crystals, so I like to continue this process for a while to really make sure that my crystals are really breaking down and getting dissolved in that butter, maple syrup, and vanilla extract. I really wanted to make myself an ice cream chocolate cake. I always used to get those from Baskin Robbins when I was little, but I didn't have time because we came back so late from our little fun trip as a family. My husband took the day off. He always does on my birthday or all our birthdays, so it was a real nice treat. So there I am adding my vanilla. If you already did, that's fine. I use a cap to measure it, so I just use the cap and do about 2 to 3 pours. I'm guessing that's about a teaspoon. I just eyeball here. Again, I'm going to use just my 1 cup to measure out my oil. I don't want to do too much oil, so I'm a little more particular here. Oh, actually, sorry, about a 1/2 cup. I thought I had a 1/4 cup. No, it's a 1/2 cup. So you can always add a little more if you just did a 1/4. And I am taking this time as it mixes to put away some of my ingredients. Now I'm grabbing my yogurt, and it might not even be a full 1/2 cup, but that's how much you need. I am going to take my spatula and get every last bit. I was so sad. I went to Costco a day or 2 ago, and my bellwether had the Star of Doom on it, probably because it's seasonally going to be gone. And I stocked up. I bought 2, so I have 4 now. It doesn't last our family that long, but I was so sad. I'm like, maybe I can get 1 more round in, but I don't know. I'd have to freeze it, maybe make some like summer yogurt frozen popsicles or something. If you are making this cake vegan, you could substitute in applesauce and just do a 1/2 cup of applesauce. And then you probably wouldn't need to do the apple cider vinegar, which I put in about a teaspoon or 2. Because apples in themselves are acidic, you could maybe still do apple cider vinegar, but I don't think you would have to. Now you're gonna need, I use milk, but you will need some kind of liquid. You could use water. I have done that when my son had dairy allergies. He has since grown out of them, but we did not eat dairy for a couple of years. So you could do coconut milk. You could do oat milk. I've made my own oat milk even. That would taste so good with this cake, actually. So for whatever you're using, you use about 1.5 cups. And I'm just going to continue to mix that. This is an eggless cake, so it will have a different result. It's not going to be exactly the same consistency. And now I'm just taking my flour mixture and just dumping it in a little at a time. This is a little bit different. I feel like it helps it create a fluffier texture. Or you could just dump the liquid into the bowl and use your hand mixer if you don't have a KitchenAid. So now it's all incorporated, and I'm just going to keep going, scraping the sides, getting all the powder in. Another thing that you could use, and I even thought about this, is maybe you could do a 1/4 cup of applesauce, and then you could do a 1/4 cup of Vegenaise. And you would think, oh my gosh, isn't that used for like mayonnaise substitute? And you can put that on sandwiches and savory things. Well, you're putting vinegar in this cake and you don't taste it. And apple cider vinegar is pretty strong. And cool fact, Vegenaise does have apple cider vinegar in it. So you wouldn't have to add your apple cider vinegar. And it has protein. And oh yeah, don't forget, sorry, pausing. Go ahead and take a lick of your batter. It's so good if you have a chance. Yes, even with the apple cider vinegar, just to make sure you have it to your liking before you know, the consistency, everything, check it. Plus, if it's your birthday or about to be, maybe even it's your kid's birthday or your husband's, you're making this cake. Give yourself a little, you know, childhood moment. I'm turning 37, so yeah, I wanted to feel like a kid today. So go ahead and just scrape off any extra before you save that for eating off the batter. And if you don't want to, maybe your kids do. So you're going to start dividing this into your 2 tins. I just do it one at a time and just kind of estimated it. I am going to be layering these, so I didn't really, you know, care. I don't have a spray oil. I don't like wasting those metal bottles, I guess. Lots of pieces, so I just, and more things to buy and store, I just take some avocado oil in my hands and then I spread it around the parchment paper just for extra non-stick benefit. You could also tap a little flour onto the bottom after you do that, but I didn't. And I'm just using my spatula to kind of spread it around. I find when you are doing egg-free batter, you kind of, I always want that, you know, consistency that's a little thicker. I probably could have added a little bit more milk. And that's the fun thing with recipes. You can see I have my little post-it note on the side. I wrote it down. I found a recipe I liked. I changed it to my liking. I experimented. And it was a little bit dense, so I could have done maybe a little extra baking powder or soda. And maybe a little bit extra liquid. But that's okay. It's a fun experiment, and I might try it next time and go, oh, you know, maybe it was too liquidy. I'll keep what I had. That denseness could have been from using the butter in the coconut oil. But it did. Oh, you guys, it turned out so good. My son came up to me at the end and I was like, well, we have a soccer game early in the morning tomorrow. And he goes, I have an idea. We can eat this for breakfast. I'm like, well, it's kind of sugary, honey. Probably not. Maybe for dessert after lunch. His face was so devastated because the way his eyes lit up when he had this idea, like it was like finding a cure to a disease. Like it was like the epiphany phase. Just go ahead and scrape off every little chunk that you can. If you miss some, that's okay. You can just eat it. There are no eggs in here, so you don't have that salmonella fear. I know they put warnings on the flour bags now, but I'm a rebel and I will still eat that. So you can see my hands were a mess. It's not cook along with Renee if you don't get messy hands by the end. I'm a super kinesthetic person, so I love getting my hands in there, using my hands. I love kneading the dough by hand a lot. It takes longer, but I don't know, something about it. So go ahead and pop those in your oven. It should be at 350. I did 350 convection bake, but you can just regular bake. And set that for 20 minutes. And while you're waiting, go ahead and clean your counters. You can do it with magic like I did because it's my birthday. And this is a great time to enjoy the batter. I opened a kombucha I got for my birthday and drank that up, and it was so good. It's the coconut lime, and it's so tropically in summer, and I just love it. I forgot I was filming the whole time, so I had to edit it. So grab yourself a cutting board, or however you want to display whatever you want to display your cake on. I like cutting boards. And grab a butter knife. I'm using, I think it's like Miss Amy's organic frosting. There's my cakes you can see, so you might want to pause it because yours aren't done, and then just unpause it when they are, or you can just watch the rest while you're, licking your frosting and drinking your drink to celebrate. Maybe your birthday or whoever's birthday isn't until tomorrow, but go ahead and celebrate anyway. You made a cake. Maybe you're like me and you didn't realize you could make a from scratch cake all those years ago. You should have seen my face when I realized, oh wait, that's all that's in a cake mix box. Why are we spending so much money on that? We can make our own from scratch thing, and it's expensive for how much flour you're getting. Like, it's ridiculous. So yeah, make your own from scratch. It's not that much harder. It's just your dry ingredients, you guys. That's it. And extra chemicals you don't need. So it's a PSA to all of you who have not made a cake from scratch if you're a beginner. So I just pulled my cakes out of really carefully. They had cooled for maybe 3 minutes. And I know they say you're supposed to let your cake cool before you put on frosting so it doesn't melt. Well, this isn't a buttercream. It's palm oil, which is pretty stiff. And I thought, honestly, with this frosting, my cakes were pretty hot. Like, not gonna lie, it does melt. But you probably would actually benefit from doing this frosting when your cakes are almost cool, but very ever so slightly warm. Or you could put it on hot like me, because you're a mom, you don't care what it looks like, and you just need to get it done. I didn't even use the whole thing, which I could have, but it's not aesthetic, it's for taste for me. Here I'm just testing to see how much it melts. Like, is it completely see-through? If you have a buttercream frosting, you will have to wait until it completely cools, because it will just melt into like almost clear. Like, you don't want that. But I did not have time for a buttercream frosting. I like to do that and just use like maple syrup instead of, this has powdered sugar So yeah, and one reason why I didn't add all the frosting, 2 tablespoons of this is about 10 grams of sugar, which is a lot. I felt a little bit better that I used alternative sweeteners, but in your body it's all the same, plus you're getting the flour in there, so your carbs. You could put like wheat bran in or use whole grain in this cake. It might make it a little more stiff and dense, but you know what, it's gonna help your body digest it a little slower. I did not today because I don't know, I just I didn't. We had eaten pretty healthy today, so I just went for it. This is just horribly slow to watch, you guys. I knew it would be too. I was so tired making this, and I'm just kind of like, okay, moving the frosting around. So some people who watch those beautiful cake videos where they do the frosting ever so lovely and they cut the cake tops, like, I'm not doing any of that. My cakes cooked pretty flat. They didn't have a big dome in it or anything, so if yours domed up, you might want to just cut the bottom part off and then just feed it to your children. Or save it and, I don't know, crumble it over something. You could use it for all kinds of things, I bet. Don't let it go to waste though. You could cut around the edges, you could cut the crust off, but I didn't care. And I knew it was flat enough that it was gonna work. So yep, go ahead and keep frosting that. But yeah, my favorite cake used to be mint chocolate chip ice cream from Baskin Robbins back in the day. I remember even then it was so expensive to get that cake. It was like part of my birthday present. And it was so good. I like asked for that cake from like 9 years old until I was like 18. I think I switched over to Funfetti's my favorite cake in high school maybe. But yeah, one day I want to make an ice cream cake on here. It'll be an experiment to try maybe when I have more time. And I know this video won't be posted until probably after Mother's Day. But my birthday is right next to Mother's Day. Fun fact, my mom went into labor on Mother's Day. How special is that? Her first baby girl going into labor on Mother's Day. Like, I would have been ecstatic. My first was a boy. And I love boys, but man, I was always really hoping for that girl. But my girl I went into labor with in August, just on a hot summer day. I didn't even know that I was gonna have her that day. I just thought I was close. I was like at 3 or 4 centimeters, and I thought, I'm kind of getting, I did a stretch and sweep. I'm kind of getting some, this is my 4th rodeo, so I knew, maybe it was time, but probably not. I wasn't feeling my contractions, and they're like, oh yeah, honey, you're having big contractions. I'm like, I am. I have like a weird uterus now where I don't feel myself having, I just kind of have predominal labor, and it just feels like almost Braxton Hicks. I'm feeling how warm my cake is at this point. I did put a layer on top of the first one, and it wasn't even a huge layer, you guys. And I just kind of put my second one on top, and now it's like an oven. My cake is like a warm oven here. So I'm just throwing the frosting down. And yeah, this frosting definitely would, it's pretty thick. Like, I definitely think a warm-ish, not hot, cake would be great for this frosting. But yeah, I remember I've had so many babies, and possibly Ehlers-Danlos. I have really flexy joints in some parts, and the nurse comes in and she's like, do you have Ehlers-Danlos? I'm like, probably. She's like, your baby's just like out and over. You carry out and over. I'm like, I'm also really small. So my babies just all go out and over, except for maybe my first. I've just been, my poor tummy's so stretched out and wrinkly now, sadly. Used to be my best feature. I loved my tummy. I'm still proud of it. I'm becoming proud of my tummy now. But yeah, it was amazing. I wasn't even full 40 weeks, and that nurse, she tucked my baby in, did spinning babies, which I had been working on with this pregnancy. Because of all the shoulder dystocia, I really wanted my baby in the best possible position to avoid a fourth shoulder dystocia. That's all I've ever known with pushing. So I hate pushing because my babies always get stuck. It takes forever. It's scary. So yes, they had did all this positioning with her, even more than my midwife had done, because I had 2 prior home births. And yeah, it was like seriously the most amazing hospital birth. I have had 2 hospital births. My first was a transfer and it was horrible. This time completely different. Oh my gosh, you guys, I was so happy that hospitals have changed so much since 2015. I did home births during COVID. It was scary, but honestly, it was kind of scary. I've changed my opinion a lot on home births. Not anything against my midwife. I just felt safer at the hospital. Could be my anxiety. I did still have a natural, like, unmedicated birth, which was more possible, I feel like, in this day and age. Maybe depends on your hospital, but I liked having the interventions there if I needed. I definitely begged for an epidural while I was pushing. My doctor was like, yeah, we'll get that started. We'll get that going. He knew the baby was like 5 minutes away. I did not, and I was panicking, so I'm always like thinking the worst, like, am I gonna die when I'm pushing the baby out? Because with my body it feels that way. I've only had 1 epidural for my births, and it just slowed it down so much. I just like to get it over with. But if necessary, it's the most amazing thing. So go ahead and just keep frosting your cake, putting the frosting all around. It took me an extraordinary amount of time, and maybe you're tired and it's taking you a long time. I'm gonna start going around the sides in a second here. But yeah, that woman, she just put me in some different positions, wrapped my tummy to get my daughter to come in to my pelvis, and oh my gosh. You might be I don't know if you're a man listening to this video, so apologize for the fun birth story in there. But yeah, it got my labor going so fast, and she's like, okay, your contractions are consistent now, and you're ready to push your baby out. It's coming. Labor's on. You're staying here. I was so shocked because all my other babies go 40 weeks over, except for my first was like right on his due date, because I think my babies hang out and over, so they can't get fully engaged in the pelvis. So if you or your wife or friend is having a baby and has a lot of prodromal labor, you should look into spinning babies exercises to get the baby engaged, or find a practitioner, a nurse, or a midwife who has that certification. Could even be a PT, like a pelvic floor PT, who I also worked with before my baby came, and like got me registered for the spinning babies class. Yeah, I was really happy about spinning babies. Like, thank you, spinning babies creator, and all the practitioners out there. It made my birth the best experience ever. I pushed her out in 20 minutes, and you guys, I'm small, so for me, like 20 minutes is short. Like, I'm really short and really narrow. And you guys, she didn't have shoulder dystocia, and I cried. It's like the first time. My first was positional shoulder dystocia, which is a little different. But this was, it was nice. I had a full dystocia with my last, and it was terrifying. We had to give him oxygen. It was scary. I was at home. Oh God, it was a scary experience. So I was happy to do that. And I really watched my blood sugar with this baby, which I didn't with my last two, and they were huge. It could have just been because, my husband's a big guy, and my grandpa is 6'7", 6'8". He is so tall. My mom is tall. My cousins are all 6 foot. I'm just like got my dad's genetics of short. So I have tall genetics, but just my dad and all of my sisters and I are very short. Like, we're like 5'2", 5'1", in that range. I've shrunk as I've gotten older. I think I used to be 5'3". So I'm adding a little pizzazz to my cake. You might be waiting for your cakes to cool and you're just listening to my stories and having a drink. Or maybe you paused your video and you wanted to keep following along real time. But I'm going to put strawberries on there. I did pick them off when I stored my cake because I don't have any buttercream frosting, so I just covered it with in a cake dish. I don't know what you'd call that with like the big lid that goes over it. I am no professional baker here. So yeah, I'm just slicing strawberries and putting them around. If you live in a place that has borage flowers go so great on cakes, and they're a beautiful addition. They taste like sweet cucumbers. I don't know. Like a melon honeyed cucumber. I don't know. They're so delicious. The first time my baby boy had a cake, because I avoided gluten and wheat for so long because he had severe eczema. And I actually am starting a channel about that as like, I mean, and when I talk severe, I mean like hospital level, most severe level of eczema. I remember when I made his first cake, and I was going through a divorce too. There's so much going on, but I just remember that was such a special moment to finally give him a cake and to do the happy birthday and have him get his hands dirty with the frosting, and he never got that. It was really heartbreaking to me because I didn't know how to bake that way. There wasn't a lot of gluten-free options like there are today. So there you go. You could add sprinkles, you could add chocolate chips, whatever you want. Make it beautiful, make it your own. And I'm gonna light this baby up right now, and we're gonna sing happy birthday to me. I'm just doing one candle for one big wish. You could add as many candles or whatever type you want. But we reuse our birthday candles. Do not throw those away. You can reuse them. You don't have to, I thought about doing two, but I just did one. You do not have to throw those away. I use the fancy organic dye-free one so I don't get colored wax on my cake. And they're kind of expensive, so yes, reuse it. Or you could just put a candle on the side. You do not have to do a candle right into your cake. So, yep, that sums it up. Thank you so much for cooking with me today. Yay, happy birthday to me. I hope you enjoy your celebration and watch some more of my videos for some follow-along dinners. And I will see you soon.